Hey, what's up, y'all? Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us here on Houston Live and Local. I'm Anthony Antoine. As always, the next half hour, we're going to bring you the latest news and everything happening here in the Houston area. So let's jump right into it here. So earlier today, we were allowed by the judge to have cameras inside of the courtroom in the case of Tony Earls. Let's give you guys a little bit of a background here. So Tony Earls is accused in the death of 9-year-old Arlene Alvarez. Back in 2022 on Valentine's Day, Tony Earls Jr., he essentially was going to an ATM, and him and his attorney says that when he went to the ATM, he was about to be robbed, and he fired off weapons, a couple shots here out of his gun, and just driving by in a truck was Arlene Alvarez and her family. That little girl was struck by one of those bullets here, and here we are today. He's now charged with manslaughter. So Tan Redford, Tan, again, we were talking earlier, full transparency, I have not been paying attention to the case just yet, just got to work, but you have.
Yes, I've been watching by the moment by moment, since it started around 9 a.m. this morning, and I will say this is an intense case, and you can just see it in everyone's face, because this is a 9-year-old little girl who died, and like you said, it was an accidental shooting, and according to court documents, Mr. Earls shot at a vehicle with a family of 5 inside, and he struck that 9-year-old little girl in her head. So, you know, it's a sad case, and you can see it on everyone's face inside of the courtroom. When the trial first started, her parents, the victim's parents, they were served a subpoena, so they weren't able to come inside of the court because they were going to testify. Now, today, court ended with the father testifying, and while he was testifying, you could just hear, you know, how he felt about his daughter, just the memories they held with his family. He talked about some of her favorite places, but it really got a little, you know, sad, I would say, whenever he talked about his daughter being shot. He said he thought she was ducking from the bullet when she was shot. She was injured, and he saw that. So he was the person on the scene that the police officer talked to. They did pull a police officer up on the witness stand today as part of the trial. So, you know, we just went through detail by detail of what happened, and then you had the prosecution talking, and then you had his attorneys talking, and they're just kind of going back and forth just to determine exactly what happened in this case.
And this is not the first time this case has been tried. This is the second time this case has been tried, because Tony Earls and his defense team have always said that it was an accident. You know, he was trying to essentially defend himself after he was attempting to be robbed. And in terms of the robber, they've never arrested anyone for that alleged robbery.
I did not see anything about a robbery, right? And then that's something that you know, his attorneys, they were saying there's a lack of evidence there. They were saying that there could have been a broader crime scene, because they should have looked to see if a robber was shooting back, you know, things of that sort. And when they talked about arriving on the scene, they just talked about how shaken up the parties were because of that little girl passing away.
Did they have any cops or anything, any officers or any members of law enforcement that actually took the stand today?
Yes. So the cop that arrived on the scene, they showed his body camera footage, and then they also played the 911 call, and you can just hear her mom, you know, just all the emotions of asking for help for her daughter. So when the officer was on the stand, they kind of just went through the chain of events. He said her mom left and went with her in the ambulance, and the father stayed back and just told exactly what he saw from his perspective. And, you know, they played all of that, and like I said, you could just see the emotion in the courtroom. Most of the time, Mr. Earls, his head was down, he was crying, he had tissue, he was shaking. It was visible, you know, the emotion that was there.
Yeah. And what time did this wrapped up? When did this wrap up here today?
So this wrapped up just right before 3 o'clock. Okay. Right. Okay. So tomorrow, I do believe we're expecting to see maybe the mom take the stand, because they were both given a subpoena to testify. So it ended with the dad on the stand today. So we have a lot to look forward to tomorrow as well.
All right. We'll be checking back with you then throughout the week. Tan, I appreciate it. Again, Arlene Alvarez, that trial starting here today. Tony Earls is accused of manslaughter. All right, Tan, thank you.